Previously on the Novympia channel.
We know you're going to get in the comments anyway and absolutely give us a bashing and a beating, and that's fine and okay.
And coming up.
Now, we also just want to say that we know a lot of people like this song, and I think that's great.
I find you very rude. The Novympia channel is made possible by our gorgeous patrons who get access to the most unappealing crap you'll find anywhere on the whole internet.
Cue the snafu! Good evening and welcome to a... No, I'll start that again.
No, that's staying in.
No, it's not.
That's staying in.
No, Nova, you got it. You can't. Nova's editing this one. No, everyone's going to see behind the scenes. I was going to say, welcome to a Novympia motion picture treat. This is Nova, and I am Minna Heikkinen.
I'm the VP's bagman, which I believe in Finland you say kasi?
Excuse me?
We are Novympia. We are here. We're delivering you a brand new Eurovision reaction video. If you don't know who we are Nova.
I'm Nova.
And Olympia. Apparently,
Olympia.
we've never done this before because this is an absolute disaster.
Yep.
Today, this is a big one. Oh, it's a big one, Nova.
This is Finland's
it
entry
is.
for the Eurovision Song Contest, the winner of UMK 2024. We watched this national final with our friend Charmaine and her boyfriend Glenda, and they fell asleep through most of it, let's be real.
They did sleep through it, yeah.
But they were very hungover. We really, really enjoyed this national final. It was very, very high production value. The opening in particular was fantastic. They had some great interval acts. It was just a very well put together show. Very, very entertaining. So well done.
Finland are really up there at the moment as one of these countries that people are watching, are looking forward to. They obviously came second last year with a really stellar entry. And their national final is sort of like the bar at the moment for what people will want to be trying to replicate.
Yeah, I would agree.
It's really, really high production value and there's some great songs. I didn't think this year's lineup was as strong as last year's, but it was still sick compared to a bunch of the other ones.
So we probably went into this with Cine Sabotage as our favourite. Would you say that?
Well, yes. I probably preferred Sarah Sippola, but loved Cine Sabotage.
Okay.
I think in the end, yes, when it came down to Windows95man, who obviously won in the end, and Sarah Sippola, I think we were rooting for Sarah Sippola.
Yes, I also really liked Jesse Markin. I think his performance was great. I'm not really sure why he did so terribly. Clearly just was not what Finland was feeling or wanting for whatever reason. I don't think I could offer anything else that would change that performance. So clearly just wasn't what people wanted. And then Cine Sabotage, I feel like, fantastic song, but the performance was really a lot. It had a lot of moving parts, and I wonder if maybe if she had a few more weeks of rehearsal, maybe it would have come together a bit more smoothly. It was a lot. It was a lot, and it didn't feel cohesive to me on stage.
To me, the performance didn't feel edgy enough. I feel like it took a song which was dripping with kind of cool, and it made it feel a little cheap, I think, in the end. But
because we had such a great music video as well, we had a certain level of expectation.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. But, we've said this for years and years, that Eurovision and, staging, it's kind of it's all theoretical. And when it comes together, it might sound great in your head, great on paper. Sometimes it just doesn't work as well, on the kind of final night, given that you don't have very long to put it together.
So this is all we do as well, is we just react to the performance in front of us and then we speculate about what could be.
Yes.
So the winner was Windows95man.
Ooh.
Shall we just dive into this? Have you got anything else you want to say
Let's
beforehand?
just watch it. God. Okay, so
there's this massive denim
testicle
egg that's smoking on stage. I really like a big set piece. I think that's really fun.
Yep. He lives by one rule, and the rules is no rules.
We have a beat straight away. The egg is opening up. It's very Born This Way. He's got noodle hair and a tash, the Windows 95 logo emblazoned all over him for reasons unknown.
Then there's this other dude behind who vocally does all the heavy lifting, and yet his name doesn't appear anywhere.
His name is Henry.
Very weird.
I like the denim costume a lot. I would love to run a toner through his hair.
So he starts running around.
So this is a featured artist, really, this Henry. And there's this gag throughout the whole thing, which I think is a clever idea, that Windows95man has no pants on. He's nude from the waist down. But there's a lot of like clever camera angles to try and cover up the fact that he's wearing nude underwear.
Yes, I think that's a clever idea, and for the most part, it does. They pull it off, because we were asking, we were like, is he got his knackers out from the waist down? We couldn't really tell.
There's just a couple of shots where, unfortunately, like the illusion's broken, and I think that's sad. I think that's a shame.
I mean, is he singing? He's sort of shouting, is he not?
I would say
Henry's singing.
I would say this vocal performance is very comparable to Karia.
Yeah, I guess so.
Very similar
To
style.
me, it's like the dude out of Aqua just did a lot of talking, didn't he? It's that kind of vibe. Especially because it's like Euro dance, it's the same kind of genre. Now, it's a tricky song to sing where a lot of it is in a falsetto, so I think he's doing a fine job of it.
I think Henry
and
does a
then
really good job with the vocal.
Pants descend down.
This staging is great.
I will
this is
argue that the
really-
staging is not great.
So we've spent the entire song just basically panicking because we don't have our shorts. Now we've finally been presented with our shorts. And for some reason they're on fire.
This is not palatable to me in the slightest. I don't like the song and I don't like the staging.
No.
I don't think the staging is cohesive. There's a lot of weird shit going on. This just does nothing for me at all.
I find it entertaining, and I think the staging is also entertaining. Does it make sense? Is it supposed to make sense? There's quite a lot to talk about with this, to be honest. I think, let me just start off by saying, if I'd been presented this without seeing any of the other contestants that were in UMK, I would be very accepting of this. I'd be like, okay, it's a joke entry, because I'm going to tell you now, this is a joke entry. This is a joke. This is comedic. The primary purpose of this performance is comedy and entertainment before anything else. The lyrics don't really mean a lot. It's just about having losing your inhibitions, no rules, just do whatever you want. The staging is just nonsense. It is just nonsense. It's all just a spectacle, and it's just supposed to be a fun joke. There's no, as far as I know, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, there's no hidden meaning here.
No, I've seen a lot of people arguing that there is a message to this song. It's not just a load of rubbish. The message is so trite. The message is a dime a dozen. Just be yourself, and whatever. It's
I
not
don't
interesting.
have a problem with. I think these kinds of acts are important to Eurovision. I like to see joke entries. I think it's been a while since we've had an entry this shallow in terms of there really isn't anything else going on. It really is just for the spectacle, just for the entertainment for the sake of entertainment.
Inevitably, there will be comments about the definition of a joke entry, which I think still to this point, I don't know if anyone's ever sat down and come up with a solid definition of what a joke entry is. So you might find that just ridiculous. I don't know.
What would your definition be of that?
Well, I did read somewhere that someone said that perhaps there is a difference between a novelty entry and a joke. A joke entry would be someone who performs a song and does not have respect for the competition or the audience. They're just literally going to kind of make fun of the whole thing. Versus...
That seems a bit harsh.
What do you mean harsh?
Not having respect for the audience.
Well,
or the
but something like Dustin the Turkey. Was that his name? Dustin the Turkey? They don't give a shit about the competition. That was a joke, right?
Yeah.
Versus something like Verka Serduchka, for example, there's a bit of novelty to it. It's humorous and it's funny, but it was obviously a very serious kind of intention
I wouldn't call that a joke
behind
entry.
it. Yeah.
I would say a joke entry is supposed to be comedic above all else.
That's the thing. That's what I mean. There's people's definition of it.
You can still be respectful of the competition and respectful of your audience, but be comedic.
People's definition of it varies. So that's why I'm just saying, people are going to kind of argue you on that point. But the thing I think is the most important thing to note is that, as fans in the Eurovision bubble, in the ESC bubble, we obviously go super hard into this. We take it really seriously. We break down staging and vocals and what have you. And a lot of people have been talking about how something of this ilk and this caliber might potentially compromise the integrity of the contest. But the number of people that we are versus how many people watch the show casually as a general kind of viewer during the final, we're a tiny, tiny percentage. And a lot of people actually watch Eurovision for entries like this. So I think that there's always got to be a space for some kind of daft entry, even if I don't personally like it. The humour in this entry is not what I dislike about it. It's the fact that I just don't think it's very good. I don't think the song is very good. I don't think the staging is cohesive or makes sense or is palatable.
I don't think it's supposed to be sense, though.
But it just reads as kind of messy and trashy to me. I've got no interest in it.
I have much more time for quote-unquote joke entries. However, with this, I'm struggling to see what the joke is. I don't understand it. It does kind of just seem like a song for the sake of being a song. It's fun and it's upbeat, but I like a novelty act that kind of has either a bit of commentary underneath, or it's Trojan horsing in some sort of message, or it is very well produced, exceptionally well performed, a la like Subwoofer or something. I want something to grab onto, but this is so derivative. There's not really anything original or unique about it. It's inoffensive to me until I remember the competitors that gave up their place for this. Until I remember like Sarah and Cindy and Yessie and Cyan Kicks.
Yes, but
then I feel a bit like, oh, you've taken their chance at this competition.
But realistically, though, we've got to talk about... I mean, we're not under any disillusion that Sarah Sipola's performance was perfect. The vocal was a little bit strained, and the song itself is an incredible downer. It's a very, very bleak song.
Yeah.
So, in terms of racking in televote points, I'm sure this will actually do considerably better than Sarah's would have done. Jury-wise, absolutely not. It's the polar opposite.
I'm very interested to see what this is going to look like.
They could have done a lot
Malmö.
worse than choose this song, I think the point is.
I think visually and the staging, it does engage me. I like the stunt with the pants. I think it could be polished up a little bit, because I don't like that there are a few shots where you can see the underwear he's wearing. I think if that could be tightened up a bit, I don't know how, different camera angles, different choreography, so we really, really have his crotch covered. I like that gag. I don't understand the relevance of it to the lyrics in the song.
None of it makes sense, though. I feel like he honestly...
The denim might be a branding thing that we're missing. The egg might be a branding thing, because this is already an established artist, so there might be things that we're missing.
There's lots of talk about it being... He's super obsessed with the 90s, right? That's why he's like Windows95man.
Maybe that's where the denim comes in then.
Or like he comes out of an egg, as in like those egg toys.
That's not very clear, is it?
I don't get it. I don't understand why he comes out of a denim egg, why he's naked and then his pants descend and then he's got those fucking pyro tube. There's so much.
I like that. That's the best
messy
part of the
shit.
staging. I think
Doesn't
that's
make any
amazing.
sense, and he's dancing around with a Windows 95 logo. Like, none of it makes any sense to me. I just don't understand it. I think he honestly looked at Karia emerging from a box and was like, what should I emerge out of? Well, I've got some leftover pants. Let's make like a denim egg. I just don't get it.
I don't know.
I hate Eurodance music. That's
I
a bit
like
of bias
Eurodance
on my part.
The problem is here, you hate it, I like it, and neither of us really like this though, and I like this genre of music, and I'm not a huge fan of this. I'm not completely against it. I will reserve full judgment until we see what the package is going to be in Malmö. But I don't really understand what they could do to change our minds on this.
Change everything about the staging.
But like, then what would you suggest? Would you want something a bit more...
No, I don't. No, the thing is, I'm not necessarily the right person to ask, because it's not for me. Which, again, this is a conversation that has been coming up a lot recently. It's not for me. It doesn't have to be for me.
But my thing is, I feel like this should be for me, and I'm not enjoying it.
Well, that's a you problem, Sylv. That's got nothing to do with me. But I think that the bottom line is, I don't like anything about this, but will defend its right to be there.
That's
based on
fair.
the fact that a lot of people want this. I just don't want it. That's like my bottom line.
I'm also glad that it's in the competition. Again, it's not something that we've had for a long time. We've had a lot of acts that have been called joke entries that I think were unfairly labelled. This is very clearly comedy and entertainment above all else. Everything else comes as a second. It is strange though. It's very strange. Like, this featured singer that isn't really credited like in the artist's name.
That's very peculiar. Especially
Obviously
doing all
in
the falsetto.
in the actual track, like he is named like in the credits, in the song credits. But
Very
like,
weird.
why is it just Windows 95 man? I don't know.
I think there has been an alarming amount of Eurodance in the national finals this year. Nova tells me that it's like making a comeback, and I'm glad that this is so far the only one that's managed to squeak through. I don't want to listen to anything that sounds like I'm lining up for like the Dodgems in a fun fair. That kind of music is so gross to me. I can't stand
See,
it.
I like that music. If
You
it's
would,
done well.
because looking at what you look
If
like now,
it's
it makes
done
sense.
well.
It makes sense.
And I don't know if this is doing anything that piques my interest with this genre.
No,
does that make sense?
Because, there were a couple of songs in this genre. What did we think of where it was like, they've taken it, but it doesn't sound like it could have been released in 1999. They've sort of made it like a fresh new thing. This, to me, they've not elevated it in any way whatsoever.
Where have you got this in your ranking?
Oh, I genuinely probably have this last.
I have this 8th because I feel like I like the staging and I'm thinking about entertainment value here, and this does entertain me. But I feel like this is slowly going to get knocked out of my top 10 because I would value entertainment over something that is trying to be serious but is ultimately just shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've got it 10th, only because Doomsday Blue, so Island's song, Ramby Thug, the more I listen to that, the more I cannot stand it. It does something to me, like physiologically. I just like repel it. I find it so irritating. So I've got it above that. And then Luxembourg and Albania's, I just think they're such dull songs. I don't even remember how they go.
I mean, we're going to be getting a revamp of Albania soon, so we should listen to that.
Watch this space. I don't know, but when it gets down to the bottom ones, I mean, they could be in any sort of order, really, couldn't they?
Now, we also just want to say that we know a lot of people like this song, and I think that's great. I'm not saying I dislike it. I'm just saying that I
Nova loves it.
There's something... I know I want to, because I should. I really should. I really, really should like it, but I just wish there was more to it. Even if it is going to be so surface level, don't overthink it, then I wish the song itself was more interesting. This is very like just Eurodance by numbers. I wish there was something interesting about either the melody or the production. It's just, this feels like this could be anyone. Do you know what I mean?
It's a shocker. I don't like it at all. It will probably be a toilet break for me. I think that's a real shame that, I don't know, it does strike me that, well, the thing is, yeah, it feels a little bit like Finland's lost a little bit of its kind of like upward trajectory, but again,
it's only 1 year.
No, I know, but the point I'm trying to make is it might just do well, because people seem to like shit like this, don't they?
This might get to Sweden and we might have the most impressive stunt in the staging that makes us all smile. Like this,
That's Sarah Benici for Malta.
I am not writing this off. This very well may do well, and it very well may deserve it. Only time will tell.
I've written it off already. Thank you for joining us for this reaction. What do you think? This is our longest one by
when we've got loads to say, they're always really long, aren't they?
There's so much to talk about.
It's normally the ones that we don't like.
I'm getting very, very excited to the point where we have a full lineup and we can do our predictions as to what will qualify. Because as we stand right now, we only have like a third of the songs, or a quarter maybe, whatever it is. And it's impossible to say at the moment what's going to qualify, but it's starting to get a little bit where you can sort of, I don't know, think about that. And over on Patreon is where we will be keeping and plopping our Eurovision prediction videos for the semi-finals. And if you're interested in heading over to the Patreon to see more about us, right? More shit from us. Exclusive shit, podcasts, exclusive stuff. The address will be arriving on screen just now. No rules. I can guess it now. What you gonna do with all that ash? It's not hard to guess. Oh, it came up already. That's done then. Yeah. Oh, and we've also got a Twitch where we are doing game nights, playing games, having fun, hanging out all night long.
I always want to say in the bar.
Yeah, but why?
Because it rhymes.
So unappealing. You're like a 12-year-old. That's why you like no rules. To be honest, Finland, I think maybe there should have been a few rules.
And a tervetuloa to our newest patrons. Aim Job, Kian Doyle, Mary aka Mez aka That Chicken Island, and Daniel.
That song means boredom.
Yeah.
Boredom.
The lyrics are great to that.
Boredom.
But save it for the Italy
Why
reaction.
do people translate songs into English if it ends up sounding like that? Well, she's not going to do that.
Join the Patron, we'll do a shot of Patron.
Legendary creature.